teach something to my pupils, but they should do this because they are my pupils and they have a plan and we have lessons. So today I wanted to ask you to be active participants and of course if you wanted to get more more powerful inspiration after this workshop, to be an active, it's like the essential part of all our duties for today. About the pathway, why I'm doing this workshop today. In Toastmasters we can choose any pathway you wanted to improve, and my pathway is effective coaching, so it's also about what we can do more and what we can teach another people to get more. Today, both with Inna, we prepared very special packages for you, and now I just wanted to ask you to take this file, yeah, and as you see, there is a few lists in this. Now we will be working with this colorful. It's like the schedule of all we're talking about now. Yeah? And if you have some comments for you to understand maybe much more, just put some advice or some tips for yourself in this column or in another. So now we will be working with this sheet of paper. Okay. So the first, actually preparing for this workshop, I monitor all we have in our old competent communication manual, and also I compare a lot of information from our judge values. And as you remember, just 1 week ago we have humorous speech contest, and all our judges were very strict to the rules and have special items they should evaluate. So the first thing from which we should to begin to talk, it's of course it's topic selection. Very often, as a VP membership or now as a secretary, I have had from all the new members, of all the members. I didn't know about what I wanted to talk. I wanted to create speech, but I think that maybe content of this speech will be not so interesting for all others. Or I just know I didn't know about what to talk to be interesting for people. And actually, the first suggestion for you, when we think about topic selection, don't think so big about this so long time. Our manuals also suppose us choose every topic actually from the daily life also. So it can be just a conversation with some friends or conversation with your colleagues on your work, and just tell us about this conversation on this stage. It can be a dialogue, it can be a monologue, it can be some reflection on what you are talking about. And actually for you it will be the first step to try this stage as a speaker. And on the other hand, it will be good to reflect about what you are talking about and to create much more meaningful conversation for all of you. Another topic which is very easy to follow or to choose, it's some magazines or some newspapers news you have heard about, or some books. Books actually, it's a great inspiration, because very often we are so inspired by the plot or by some character or even some writers we wanted to share. We wanted to say, Tamriko, you should read this book because it's so inspiring, it's so essential, it's everyone should read it and should renew all his life, for example. And this topic, to try on the stage, it's also the good every time. And I think in Toastmasters we also can create like a community of literature club, and we can share with all of us some books we wanted to encourage all others just to write. Another topic which is also very easy, which is on the space, we can just talk about how we made shopping, or how we go to the work, or how was our work. And actually, I I'm sure that all of us on our work, we are professional in our work, and we can just share some experience, how we choose this work, how we go to this work, how we what we are doing during all this work, or some cases which I'm sure really are relevant not only for you personally, but for all others jobs also. Actually, I have two diploma of not masters, two specialist diploma, and after the second higher education, I realized that first education, it was just a little part of me, and only getting much more experience, new diploma or some new knowledge from other areas, it helps you to be much more widespread, and all your horizons, all the education horizons are much more wider than before. So I encourage you not to afraid to share with colleagues, with us in Toastmasters, some experience of your professional job also. I'm sure that Natalie can tell us so many cases from her journalist job work that we are and love and informing also. What about Toastmasters? Toastmasters also said us when we select some topic, we should ask yourself, what is the purpose of this speech? Yeah, why you are talking about this? And they divided it like two kinds of purpose. First purpose is like the general purpose, so you can just inform something to do this, just entertain. Yes, entertain, we all go to this because we wanted to have some joyful Sunday morning, yeah. Also can be the purpose of topic to persuade to do something or to inspire. Actually, about inspiration, I know that it's very hard, but every time you can try. You can try to inspire, and this call of action you can put in your speech. It's also a great purpose for our topic. And this specific purpose, Toastmasters also told us, you should ask a question. After hearing my speech, the audience will be able what? To talk about some character, or to compare her personal experience with your experience, what you wanted to teach your audience. So ask this and try to write all your speeches according to this purpose. And of course, at the end of writing the speech, ask you again. Maybe something missed, or maybe something changed. So just retell, just rewrite this purpose, and everything will be okay. So it is the first essential part, I mean, about how to create the topic. And as you see, all other issues, all other items in our this workshop list, it just help you help you to be more effective, even if you create great content of the speech. The second speech value and appropriateness item, it's about does this topic is really relevant for this audience, so just think about it. And of course, in Toastmasters we try to avoid some potentially objectionable language, some anecdotes which can abuse someone, so also be careful to using this, or use these techniques only if you are sure that audience will support you and you not have a lot of hate feedbacks after this. About preparation and about the supporting. When you told about something, it's very good to take some testimonies or some example stories, some statistics if you want also. It's good, and it made your argument and it made your content much more valuable for all us. Speech development. It's a very essential part how we structure our speech. Should be some opening, body and conclusion. And opening and body should be connected. So when at the beginning you told thought about something, it will be very great if you return to this at the end of your speech. About structure, we will talk much more later. I just wanted to say you that all the sub-points, it's like the general from Toastmasters. They told us to divide, to develop in speech 3 main parts, and these 3 main parts should be united by some purpose. Money and comfort level. Of course, when we are first time on this, we are very scared, we are very nervousness. We all should try to do this, and as much as you try to be nervousness on this stage, every time it will be much more easy for you. So don't afraid. Any speaker begin from this point of being a speaker. Every speaker begin from this nervousness. Don't afraid to look in the eyes of audience, because very often in these eyes you see good energy that can help you to continue your speech, and it's a good energy which feel the people, feel the audience, and feel you, and it's like a very good energetical connection. About eye contact, also it's just a trick. When you are on the beginning of the meeting and you're afraid to see someone's eyes, just go to this person and to acquaint and just to say hello, how are you, my name is, and during the speech it will be much more easy for you to look at this person in his eyes, because you have this contact before you begin to speak about. About face, of course, when you talk about something sad, try to work with all your emotion and with all your face. It's very easy when you train your speech or when you train about what you wanted to talk near the mirror, of course. But now in Toastmasters, when you try to do this, when I smile, I see on someone, and when I see that someone is smile, so I will be smiling much more. When I am sad, I also look at the audience, and I see how sadness it can be. So just try to work with this mimicry masks. Thank you. About posture. Of course, when you will be talk something like this, yeah, audience will catch that you are very nervousness, and it will be much more difficult for you to step from this. What Toastmasters said us: when you go to the stage, just breathe here, make your shoulder much more straight as usual. Try to watch in the eyes of your audience, and only after this connection begin to talk. Take this pause. It's very good for all reflection about your speech. About body movement and speaking area. As you see, we have all this space for us, and as you speak, you really can feel all this area. Don't shy and just try to do this. The first step you can do when you divide your speech on these 3 essential parts. You can emphasize on this part, but by staying on another position. For example, I begin my speech from this point, then I tell about something and choosing this space, and it's also good to you and to audience to have much more essential understanding about what you're talking about when you're choosing these different parts of. Also, when you want it, you also can go to some person from the audience, ask him, make this contact. It's also good when it's appropriate exactly in your speech. Don't afraid to do this. Very often in Toastmasters we support such ideas or such should work in this area. This is a working area with your hands. Don't be very wide. Don't be very this, and don't be this. try to at least to begin from this point, yeah, and then just to try from time to time to use your gestures, also to emphasize the essential part of your speech. I see a lot of examples of speech when speakers were so excellent in this gestures that they can also by gestures describe about everything they wanted to tell us, and try to do this in front of the mirror and then try to do this in front of us. It will be a great experience for you also. About the vocal variety. Vocal, I am sure that we all should work with vocal. It's connecting with the tone, with the speed, with even the temp. And as for me, actually, it's a big sphere of improvement. But I have had a lot of guys who begin with some whispering, then tell something much more loudly, and then even scream. And it's all when you use all the tone during your speech, it's also help us to understand much more about what we are talking about. Sometimes even you can just have silence, and this silence or this pause also catch the audience to you, because they understand unconsciously that something will be very major, or something will be very essential. So also try to use it in your speeches. Visual aids. I am sure that Natalie prepared for us a lot of visual aids, and Toastmasters International also said us that all visual aids should be appropriate. Don't use too many visual aids during your speech. They said us that no more than 6 words per line per one visual. Of course, visual helps us to understand more and to remember about each speech during all the time. For example, about some recently speech from our Sasha with Tony, I'm sure we all will be remember during a long period, because this was very good balance that all of us remember about it. A visual aid, it also can be like some computer presentation, or it should be some whiteboard or some flip charts. Once I see a speaker, actually it was Anya, she told us a speech about visual aids, and how visual aids was just a chair without no one. And this no one on the chair, it was the main visual aid in her speech, and it was an excellent speech. I was so impressed by this, and I remember about the speech, as you understand, very long. It's a good to be creative in visual aids also. Language, grammar, pronunciation, pronounce, of course, usage. Toastmasters told us about short words, vivid words, about trying to include some rhetorical devices, about some metaphor, similar alliteration, but I always remind you, be careful with all this, try to use it then, but if you see that audience didn't catch this, just try to repeat and to be much more patient for this part of. And effectiveness, interest and reception. Ask yourself after the speech, what was the general purpose? What was the specific purpose of this speech? Was I able to determine this? Did the speech is really appropriate to all of us? And in this part, it's essential part just to be very sincere with yourself and be very sincere with audience. when I am on the stage and I have a feeling that something was so bad, I go to my fellows and say and just ask, Inna, said me, what was so the bad things I do on the stage? Just tell me, and I try not to do this again. So don't be afraid to have a mistake. Don't be afraid to try something new. Try to be much more open for all others, and I think sincere is the main we can do during all others. Yes, I knew that my time is overwhelmed, yeah, and now I wanted to ask you to work, yeah, because it's workshop, we should work. In this workshop pack,